We're going in dry, no plan.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right,
let's just do this.
Yeah.
You're listening to a Cult Talk Network podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to the Cult of Campbell versus Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Season 2, Episode 1, Home.
I'm Eric.
I'm Ben.
And we're going to get right into this because we had some strong thoughts on the last episode.
Yeah, it ended kind of unsatisfactorily.
Right. Yeah. I wasn't. There was just a key decision made by a character that I just wasn't happy with. Wasn't having.
So let's get into this.
Yeah. So this episode was written by. See, I even complained about about this name, but I did nothing to fix this. So here we go. Craig Didger. Oh, we called him Craig Didgeridoo last time because we couldn't figure out.
Didgeridoo. Yeah.
Digregorio. Directed by Rick Jacobson.
Anyway.
I don't have the air date up in front of me, but that's fine.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
So let's back up and start with our complaint with the ending of season 1 episode, or season 1, the final episode of the season finale was with Ash. Ash was offered the deal with Ruby, where Ruby says, "I'll take the Necronomicon. You can keep the dagger. Yeah. I will take over and be kind of the gatekeeper for these fuckers and just kind of keep everything nice and orderly. And in return, you can fuck off to Jacksonville."
Right. And just do your thing in Jacksonville.
And retire. Yeah, basically retire.
Yeah.
And despite like this entire season, Ash kind of saying time and time again, like I finally kind of started to understand that it's bigger than me. It's not just about me. Like it's so on and so forth. He takes the deal and just fucks off.
Yeah.
And for some reason, like without a second thought, he believes that this is going to go well.
I know. Yeah. And I know he's not the brightest guy, but that just didn't make, he's not that dumb.
So if they would have done that season where he keeps saying like, I finally get it. Like it's bigger than me. It's not about me. But then he immediately does something that counteracts that.
Right.
And they keep playing it for a gag. And they're like, well, the audience is going to think eventually when it comes down to it, Ash is going to like man up and do the right thing. And then he still doesn't.
Yeah.
I would be fine with that.
Right.
That's not what they did.
That's not what happened.
No, every time he would like say that, it became like this reaffirming thing. And it's like, so it actually seemed like it was legitimately trying to be a plot point.
Right. Here's how I could have bought what they wanted by the end of this thing. They should have put them together in more episodes at the same time.
Ash and Ruby?
Yes. And given them more time, honestly.
To build some sort of like.
Yeah. Where she's built a relationship with him of some sort. They know who they are. She can manipulate him along the way. Like, give us a reason for Ash to trust her. You know what I mean? Like a little bit. Because he is a dumb sap. He's just not that much of a dumb sap.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
At least I wouldn't have thought so.
Like, honestly, and that kind of sells me on. I kind of cringe every time like the detective came up with you because it's like you didn't like your storyline, but I see what I kind of get it now. It's like that really could have been given to a Ruby character. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
that was extra time that really could have.
Yeah, it's for a character that made just no nonsense decisions, not based on anything that she saw or learned.
Yeah, and
it just took time away from everything. Yeah,
right. Now, what if we didn't have, God forbid, we didn't have Lucy Lawless, but her character was still pretty much played the same, but then she ended up being. The switch was she was after the Necronomicon and she was one of the old ones trying to get it back. And you know what I mean?
I mean, so, yeah.
Of course, that first scene with her wouldn't make any sense.
Right, yeah. Maybe if she got possessed there or something and they just didn't show it.
Oh, yeah. She was just, cool. Yeah.
So they could do, yeah, sure. But once again, it comes down to, you mean like, so if they took away characters and completely rewrote the show, would it be
I'm like
better?
rewriting the show. You're right.
Yeah, it's like, so my problem is there are problems that you can change and fix with minor tweaks, and that is like a minor problem, right? Like, you're like, okay, you could fix this and you could tweak that to make a little bit more sense or make it a little bit more logical. And the small tweaks mean small problems. But when you're like, hey, I can fix this problem, and then as you're explaining the fix, you end up rewriting like the whole show, that means that's a huge problem.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, you absolutely could have done. I mean, there's no reason why that character couldn't have worked other than they needed her to be the obstacle to Ash, even though they already had an obstacle built into the show with Ruby.
Yeah.
I just don't know why she was there.
Yeah. But I guess we should start getting into what came of their
we should. So
writing decisions.
So with that, Ash fucks off to Jacksonville.
Yep.
And that left us to wonder, where are you going to go with this? Because obviously, we know that the show gets one more season. Had 3 seasons.
I didn't check on that, but yeah, I think it is 3 seasons.
Yes, it is 3 seasons.
Yeah.
3 seasons. So we knew with 3 seasons that it was going to continue and that it wasn't just going to be him fucking off to Florida.
Obviously there's going to be more going on.
Right. So we open up with this episode.
Hold on. It's not like we haven't been doing this show for 6 months. Clearly, Ben and Eric have forgot a little bit of the format. So, as always, let's get groovy. Grab your boomstick and fire up the Delta. It's time for ACTION. Join the Cult of Campbell. Groovy.
And if you're lucky a little later, I'll let you play with my boomstick.
So we open up with this episode with Ruby is uppercase fucked. Like
Seriously.
F-U-C-K.
Disheveled.
Dud.
Yeah.
She is fucking dud.
She's clinging to this book and she's got these her demon children.
Yeah, she looks, and what's interesting is like through this entire series we've seen Ruby is very like put together. She's dressed well. Her hair is great. Like
she's always putting up a fight when it comes down to
She doesn't ever seem desperate. Even when she was, Ash shot her with a shotgun, she looked more annoyed than she did. In this though, she is. Her clothes are torn. There's blood everywhere. She's got her hair all messed up. She is running like hell.
You can tell by the look on her face. She's like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we find out that her demon babies, which are now grown up.
Yeah.
And kudos to them.
That's some cool creature design.
I really like that creature design, and I like the effects that they did with them. The moving in the shadows and
their ability to like
becoming corporeal,
turn into a shadow and shit.
And moving.
That
was really cool.
And
so
it looked really cool. Just that tall, slender, lean, kind of blue-black kind of color to
blank,
him.
Very blank.
Yep.
So that was really cool.
With teeth that are definitely reminiscent of like Deadeye teeth.
And she's running, and basically she's flipping through she's actually using the Necronomicon to like fend them off. She's fighting them, and she finds a page that basically has a picture of Ash on it. Right.
Yeah.
And she says something to the effect like, "Are you telling me that dumb shit's my only hope?" It's something.
Right.
I don't think that's a direct quote, but it's basically like she's talking the book. And she's like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me! I need this ass hat."
God damn it! And it's a picture of that looked like from
Evil or not Army of Darkness.
Dead.
It's Army of Darkness. It almost looks like the ending of Evil Dead 2, where he's standing on the car.
Yeah.
But that's not the end. That's not the beginning of.
It's not the beginning
Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
But that fits with this series where they're like, which ones are canonical and which ones aren't? Tickle my pickle if you can find out. It's like, fuck, god damn it.
All right. I'll saddle up.
Right. Yep. Although we were kind of given a slight heads up that Army of Darkness does start to creep in.
Right.
So that's cool. I can't wait for that. Army of Darkness.
I know.
Is the best one,
and this is that first little hint of it, huh?
I think so. So it flips over to Jacksonville, Florida.
Yes, where it looks like a dream with how much fun he's having.
It does, like almost to the point where I was like, I don't believe this.
Mm-hmm.
Like Ash is in the middle of this like college crowd that's like drinking and hot ladies and really buff like Chad guys. And
they're all chanting back at him.
They're all chanting Ash,
awesome.
Ash, Ash. And he cracks open a keg with his chainsaw while everybody like sucks down beer. And while we're watching this, I'm just like, this is a dream, right? Like Ash has never been this cool when he was ever.
Yeah.
Not ever. It sure as fuck isn't.
Nope. We start to see like, of course, the other two are there.
Pablo is the bus boy. He's cleaning up.
Naturally, yeah.
And he's just like, El Jefe. I'm like, oh, God. Like, he's simping on Ash now.
Yeah. Like, again, he's back to it. When life is normal, he simps on Ash.
Like, oh, my God.
Normal. Like, that's normal.
You know what? Pablo is the Sims what Ty is to watching movies. He's just like the trash, like the possum that just the lowest.
He just wants more of it. Lives.
God, yeah, he just can't help himself. Pablo's natural. See, like people wanted to say, like when we watched the people that you go back and watch Cultober, we did The Faculty.
Yes.
People wanted to call Casey a simp. I'm like, Casey's not a simp. Pablo is a simp. Like, God damn. They flat out refuse to give him any sort of like character personality other than dick sucker. Like, holy crap. Like, we really thought like in the last episode, like with the book and everything, we're like, oh, and he's like, kill me. It's fine. Like, oh shit, right. Pablo's gonna get a little bit serious. Nope. He's right back to just being like, teabag me, daddy. Yeah. Like this guy is like, oh God, he continues to be like.
Although, you know what I noticed in this episode?
What?
There was no will they, won't they dialogue.
There wasn't.
So
there was not. It was finally, but that's why he's simping on Ash now, because like he's been put in the friend zone, and even Pablo knows you can't simp your way out of the friend zone.
That's like the terrible thing about his character is that like he it's like they need him to
they need him to need somebody.
Yeah, they do.
Christ, man.
Yeah, can we just have the like, you know, I can love myself story arc already and get it over with? Jesus. Like, or I can believe in myself.
I think if Pablo starts loving himself, it's going to have some really strange looking calluses. But anyway, so Pablo's the bus boy and Kelly is the bartender.
Yeah.
And God bless Kelly. She actually continues to be my new rising favorite.
Yeah.
She is the only one in there who's like, why are we doing this?
Yep.
Why are we trusting Ruby? Like, who the fuck thought this was a good idea? And Pablo, who was objecting to it at the end of season 1, is now like, nah, it's cool, it's fine, everything's going great. And she's like, how is this fine?
Yeah.
Thank you, Kelly.
That continues to
like I don't
impress us. Her character.
I still think Kelly's becoming the coolest character so far. I really like Kelly. Yeah. Pablo is just the worst, man.
Maybe they're seeding some changes in there. There's something.
They're taking their fucking time.
They are. They really are.
Like, you only get 3 seasons, fellas.
I just need him to shave his mustache.
That's
the only character development I'm really asking for.
I hate that. I hate that stash.
I know. Me
hate
too.
You know why? Because other than that stash, he looks like like Doogie Howser. He looks like he's 12. That's why they put that fucking stash on him. But it's like putting a porn stash on a baby. It just looks fucking weird.
Like that baby from the Addams Family.
Yeah. Well, even that, at least that was a nice little delicate like mustache. This is like Dirty Sanchez, like caterpillar sleeping on your face mustache. Terrible.
So that's the kind of character development I would really like to see.
At this point, I'd settle for him. Just be like, you know what? Masturbation's not that bad. I would settle for anything other than I need somebody to need me.
Right.
But anyway,
we digress.
We digress. So they're all like, they're all partying at Jacksonville.
Oh my God, we're in the second scene still.
Yeah, Stay tuned for Cult of Lore, folks.
We swear it'll be way longer.
It will be.
You can only imagine.
But so we get it. So they're in Jacksonville, and these fucking the demon babies, or not the demon babies. It's the actual Deadites. It's your traditional Deadites, and these. Yeah. So the thing I actually appreciate about this, the Deadites had now kind of returned to a little bit better form. I think like in season 1, there was a few parts where they were kind of ranging on the like the Walking Dead, where the zombies are like sick.
They lost
cannon fodder.
They lost their danger. Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
But this one I really liked. And they showed up and they're doing their typical Deadeye stuff. They're fighting people and throwing people around. And of course they're trying to kill Ash. And Ash is like, whoa, hold up. You guys aren't supposed to be here. We have a truce. And one of them says, talk to Ruby. She sent us. Your truce is done.
Yeah.
And as they're fighting, it says a rhyme. It says, Ashy, Slashy, Hatchet, and Saw takes your head and skins you raw. Ashy Slashy, Heaven or Hell, cuts out your tongue so you can't yell.
Ooh.
Which is actually, I think, is kind of a cool little rhyme.
I like it. I like that. And that's kind of a neat little summary.
Sort of, yeah.
Sort of, yeah.
But so he kills, they get rid of these deadites, they kill him.
Fight him
And
off,
Ash is like, saddle up, partners. We're back in this.
Yep.
And I know where Ruby is. And they're like, where? And she's like, he's in our hometown. Fuck. What was it called?
Oh, shoot. Their hometown.
Elk,
called?
Elkville?
Slashy.
Elk Grove.
Elk Grove. Okay.
And he's like, they're in my hometown of Elk Grove, Michigan. And they're like, how do you know that? And he's like, that stupid poem. And they are off to Michigan.
Yes.
And what I can only describe as a mid-season or a in-between season retcon.
Yes. So they didn't really do anything clever with.
They didn't do anything at all with it.
Deal. They just dropped it.
They did. They were like, we put him in Florida. Fuck. We need him out of there. Let's get him out of there. How? As soon as possible.
So it didn't turn out to be any sort of trick on Ash's part. Like, I was kind of really hoping that something in the beginning of this season would be like, nope, nothing like that. But we've moved on from it.
Yeah, like it was, like a 10-minute scene?
Yeah.
15-minute scene at best?
So I might well be able to forgive it because just some other things that happen as this episode goes along that I really liked.
Yeah,
so
yeah. No.
Okay.
I kind of look at it as like they were stepping one direction. And they're like, ooh, this doesn't look like a good path. And so they just decided to go another direction.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
That works for me.
Because, I didn't want him to retire in the first fucking place.
Yeah.
I didn't need Jacksonville.
I just didn't like the reason he retired. It was just, anyway.
So, let's see. They get all the way back to Michigan. No problem. And they show up to Ash's old house. And Ash tells them that his parents are dead.
Goes
Gets inside, and we meet Ash's dad, who is not dead.
Nope, he's got a shotgun too.
He's got an over and under versus a side by side. So they both use double barrel shotguns. It's just the dad's is stacked and Ash's is side by side.
Yeah,
I actually prefer the over and under myself, but
well, there you go.
I like the fact that they are both. So with a double barrel, you have to kind of compensate for the fact that the center of the barrel is a little bit off sides, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with a over and under, both barrels are lined up directly. You do have to worry about the barrel being slightly under, though.
Right.
So you have to aim slightly higher with the second barrel. But I digress.
So
and he's Ash.
Yeah. He's a gruff Ash.
Not so. I mean, Ash is pretty gruff.
Yeah,
so
that's
I
true.
would say that Ash's dad is Ash if Ash didn't think he was a pretty boy.
Yes. I think you're right. Yeah.
I don't think Ash's dad is under the delusions that Ash is about what his level is.
Right.
But nevertheless, he accuses Pablo of being an illegal, which is hysterical.
Mm-hmm.
And then he keeps hitting on Kelly, who wants nothing to do with it.
And makes it very clear.
Makes it extremely clear.
Yep.
Doesn't slow him down one bit.
No.
But she makes it clear. And basically his dad is like, you disappointed me because it was weird. It was kind of funny because it's not the fact that his dad was questioning at all that his friends were possessed by demons and all this shit. Like his dad's like, that's fine. What bothered me was people were making fun of you and you bitched out.
Yeah, you just.
It's like, I mean, that's.
He's like, you didn't defend me. He's like, you didn't defend yourself. Why would I? It's
yeah.
Like, oh.
Yeah, and you know what?
Yeah.
That's a supportive dad right there. It's like, son, it's not that you cut up your friends that bothers me. It's like, okay, there's some room to work there. So I don't know. I'm kind of on Ash's dad's side besides the vague racism of Pablo.
Yeah. I mean,
although, you know what? Fuck Pablo. Let's just get him out of there. He can go to INS. It's fine.
It's his mustache for me. Just the mustache. I don't like the mustache.
It's just, listen, I would be on board with deporting any simp.
Regardless of race, religion, gender, just.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. We can do like what the Russians did with the prisons in Siberia, only we can make it a nice tropical island.
Oh, boy. Well.
Welcome to Serempak Park. Anyway, so they duck at it. Like, I have absolutely... this is only episode 1, right? But
Right.
so we have absolutely no idea what purpose Ash's dad will serve in the future. But
Right.
as it currently stands in this episode, he doesn't serve much of a purpose.
No.
Besides giving us some interesting backstory into Ash, which is cool. I mean, I didn't hate it.
No, you can see his you can just see where some of it came from Ash. Like, you know what I mean? In his personality.
Yeah, yes. So, but I mean, as far as the like straight up plot goes, he doesn't do much.
Right.
So
he
he
just refuses to help.
Yep. He's like, I'm going to need you to get the fuck out because I finally put my life back together. Although I have to admit, if that's his life back together, I'd really hate to see what his life looked like.
No, that house didn't look great.
It did not. So they go to the local bar.
Yeah. That's what it looked like a local bar.
Because for some reason, Ash has Pablo draw a sketch of Ruby to show people to look for her. And the immediate question I had is, I looked at Eric, I was like, can Pablo draw?
And
it turns out he fucking cannot.
He cannot.
No, he can't. And also, while he's doing this, Pablo, for some goddamn reason, is having like visions that this little dumb fuck decides to keep to himself, like the zombie bite thing. And it's just like, oh my Christ.
Where you hide the zombie bite injury. It's like, no, you have to tell somebody. Like, what do you think is going to fucking happen?
And it's one more removed from that because it's not even like he's dangerous. He's just seeing stuff. So it's like, if you see something, say something, demons and all that. Pablo.
Yeah. Say something. God damn it.
But he doesn't.
Nope.
He sees like letters turn into the face of the Necronomicon. And basically we find out, I'm going to jump ahead just for a second for a small snippet, is basically we find out that ever since he's had that thing on his face, Pablo's been fucked up.
Yeah. He's been
having nightmares and visions.
Even when he's awake,
when he's awake. Yeah. So he's keeping that shit to himself. So they go to this bar where they meet the town yokels.
Yep.
And oh fuck.
Well, it's kind of like,
what is her name though? The waitress.
The waitress's name?
Yeah. So we meet one of Ash's kind of like, I don't want to say childhood friends, but maybe teenager friends.
Sounds like they all went back to their childhood.
Yeah. Ash flirts with her like he does with everybody, and she actually really seems to like Ash.
And she kind of backed him up too.
She did.
Yeah. Like she seemed to be the only one happy to see him. Everyone else kind of did that like saloon.
Linda. Her name is
Linda. Okay, Linda. But yeah, when he came in, everybody just kind of stopped the conversation and did that like old timey Western saloon thing where they all look over their shoulders.
And Ash's dad's name is Brock.
Brock?
Brock Williams.
Brock Williams.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So anyway, he flirts with her.
Because she's like the only person happy to see him.
Right. And he finds out that she is married to the town sheriff, who is just, well, first of all, Ash was a bully to him in school. So that just automatically makes everything so much more awesome.
Right. So he's already pretty hostile to Ash. But he's like, he's a dick.
He is a dick.
Which it might be because he was bullied by Ash.
I mean, it is, but like at a certain point, like eventually you have to grow up if you're going to be law enforcement, you fucking prick.
What's funny is like before this, at some point, a homeless man rode by and was like, "You ruined my life," to Ash. But they never explained that. He's just...
No, they didn't, did they?
No, they just left it like, it's like, oh God, what did he do?
Oh, I'm sure he did something.
Yeah. But anyway, so they don't...
And like this is the only thing that happened where I was like, this is fucking dumb. Like, who wrote this? They start, like, the sheriff gets, like, Ash is like, okay, yeah, you're a D-bag, but I'm looking for this woman. I'm going to save the town. And then once I do that, I'm going to fuck off. And he shows him the thing. He's like, have you seen this woman? And of course he hasn't because
it looks like that awful drawing.
Yeah. It's like something a parent would put on their refrigerator.
Yeah. It was funny.
And instead of just being like, no, get out of here or whatever, he gets everybody in the bar involved and is like, this is Ashy Slashy. This is the guy. This is the serial killer that killed all his friends. He's here looking for a new victim. Should we help him find him? And I'm like, excuse me? Are you trying to tell me that what you actually think is going on is that this guy, who we all agree, apparently, has murdered his friends and butchered them into pieces, decided to wait, 30 years, come back, find the sheriff, ask him for a new victim? That's what you think is happening here? Really? That is an interesting mode of detection, Sheriff.
Well, the people that we know from this town aren't known for their brightness, are they?
But still, like, come on.
I know.
What a
It's
ridiculous
stupid.
like, if you wanted the sheriff to make fun of Ash, that's cool.
Right.
But that was such a stupid way to do it. Like, that's not what's happening.
It was dumb. I wonder why. Like, did he have to be the sheriff? Like, I wonder if he's going to be a continuing character.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
Yeah. Yeah, good point. But
I
so
have no doubt that they made him goddamn annoying for a really good reason. I hope they did.
yeah.
I hope it's not the actor. Oof.
Yeah. But what that scene kind of did set up that I really liked was kind of, because did we really know what people's reaction was to the cabin? I don't think
No,
that we
I
ever
mean,
got
so
anything
it-
like
yeah.
that. So I think that's pretty cool.
I 100% buy that that's what people think happened.
Yeah.
I don't buy that that's what they think Ash is doing.
No, of course not. Of course not. Like, stupid scene aside, the way that they delivered it was, but to me, it was like a super neat thing to explore. Like, okay, we will bring him back to his hometown.
You know what?
And they are addressing, it's like, because we've talked about that before, having watched the Evil Dead series. Like, it looks like he killed all these people.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Sure.
Yeah. So I think that's a neat thing to.
And it's funny because I
kinda have in here.
never actually caught myself wondering what like the town thought of it.
Right. Me neither. Yeah.
But once they kind of introduced that aspect to it, I was like, oh no, I'm interested to hear what
So-
they thought of it.
Yeah. So it was definitely a clunky way to bring that idea in, but I do like the idea.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not. You don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
No, just the stupid sheriff. That's
Just the way they chose to frame it. I was like,
Yeah.
wait, what?
because
That's the appeal you're making? Okay. Hey, we got Ted Bundy here. He's taking out advertisements in the newspaper. Okay. So they laugh him out of the bar.
Yeah, I mean, he does kind of like have a turnaround and fuck you, I'm gonna save you or not. Whether you like it or not.
So this is a good case in point of why what they did in that last episode is is more than a problem just structure wise.
Mhm.
I don't care that he did that.
Yeah.
They've already so they did that really cheap shit in the last season, in the last episode where he's like, it's more, he gives
about
these
more than-
statements of like mission and purpose,
Yeah.
but he does absolutely nothing to back them up. So when he's like, you know what, I'm going to save your town and screw you guys, and I'm like, are you though, or would you take the next
easy
cheapest
way out again.
next cheapest opportunity to
Yeah.
why do you care more this time than you like? Couldn't you just get Ruby to help be under control again? And then, I mean, at
Right.
this point, he thought Ruby was turned against him. He didn't
Yeah.
know what was going on. But still, like you had him pull this really ridiculous gag where he retires and leaves it in the hands of somebody that he has absolutely no reason.
Yeah.
And now I'm supposed to care that, or now I'm supposed to believe this big statement that he's got. It's probably part of what I think is a retcon.
Yeah. Because
But-
that's what you're bringing up is like the problem with how the last season ended with the decision that he made. It's like, because
well, yeah.
that to me, that made me so sad when you're like, I don't believe him. I
I don't.
That breaks my heart, but it's like, yeah, you're right though. That's part of the problem now.
Yeah,
that they have to that
so
they have on their hands from.
it would be like as if Ash in Army of Darkness really did take the portal home
Yeah.
when they're like, we're men of honor and we're gonna,
Right.
he's like, we're gonna. It would be as if, like, for me, then there's no difference in Army than if in Army of Darkness they're like, you can go home, it's fine, we can probably do this, and he goes, oh, you can probably do this. Well, that's better
Yeah.
chance than none, and he fucks off and goes home.
Right.
Like, that's basically what he did.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's why you have to be really careful with doing shit like that. Is because I don't like. I'm sure he will because I think it's part of a retcon, right? But like,
Yeah.
if you were to follow the way they did it, like, would he just take the cheapest, easiest way to get this off of his plate again?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was. I like that he did it, but it comes with the baggage of what I consider to be a mistake in the last season.
Right. So
So there we
that
go.
gets us out of the bar.
So they are. So while he's in there having this little tete-a-tete with the
the locals.
with the locals, Pablo has what I actually consider to be a really cool scene. I actually really like this. He has a vision, although like the fact that he was following this ghostly. So he's walking down the street. He's like, they're
Alone.
waiting for Ash outside the
Yeah.
bar. He sees this like hanged person, this floating person
Yeah.
in an alleyway. he pulls out his giant I have a small penis revolver and decides to follow it without getting Kelly.
Right.
But so I have different rules for visions than I do visions and dreams and stuff. Like, I don't expect the person to, because we do stuff in dreams where it's like, why the fuck did I do that? It's like, well, it seemed right at the time, even though in reality you would never do the thing. Even though, let's be honest, Pablo would do the thing.
I know. God damn it.
But I can forgive it because it didn't actually happen.
Because it was a vision.
So he follows it
down an alleyway.
And he rounds this corner into what is a really cool scene. Like the alleyway caved out into this scene of Ruby standing there with the Necronomicon.
Yeah.
But she's all like shadowed and like
wreathed in smoky shadow.
Yeah, and then there's this big warehouse factory looking thing behind her.
Yeah, with the two
giant smokestacks.
Yep.
And the Necronomicon like flies off of the book and latches back onto Pablo's face.
He's like, no!
And he starts pulling his own face off.
Yeah.
Which was disturbing, but really cool.
Oh, yeah. Disgusting. But that was cool.
And then right as he's getting ready to like pull the last of his face off, he snaps out of it. And it was a vision. He's standing in front of the bar.
Uh-huh.
So Ash comes out and like Kelly's over there trying to get Pablo to keep from peeing himself because he's like freaking out over this vision, which is perfectly reasonable.
Yes.
And Ash comes out and Paulo's explaining like the vision he had. We might be getting a bark here in a minute. Gypsy seems to have heard something.
All right.
But he starts describing this vision he had, and Ash is like, he recognizes the building, and it happens to be a crematorium, which makes sense.
Yep. It's like, okay. Yep. Definitely makes sense.
Yep. So they drive there and they get in, and we can't quite remember how they split. Did they split up?
Did they make the decision to split up, or were they just split? Did it happen to them?
Right.
So let me see, because I will try to.
Somehow or another, we both missed that.
Drive. Yeah. I just didn't retain it, I guess. Okay. So, well, before they go in, Pablo finally tells them about.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He does. So, yeah, they go in, and Pablo finally kind of breaks down. He's like, hey, this is all the shit that's been happening.
Yeah.
And everybody's cool with it.
Yeah, they're like, well, they did like ask like, why didn't you tell us? And he was like, I was afraid.
I was afraid, and you're like, that's everybody's answer all the time.
Yeah, that's a reason, not an excuse.
Yeah, it's an explanation for why a thing happened.
Yeah, I would have been like, dude.
Yeah, but anyway, so they he does. Thank God. Like, I'm glad they didn't stretch that shit out over 2 or 3 episodes. Like, that would have gotten really nerve grating.
They do. They just fucking split up.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So they go into the crematorium. They split up.
And
they have all they have some interesting little experiences.
They do. And one thing
neat.
that we both kind of appreciated, though, is right before they go in, Ash duct tapes the Kandarian dagger to the double barrel shotgun.
Yeah, like a bayonet.
We were like, now that's a good idea.
Yeah.
He doesn't use it for fuck all.
No.
But it was a good idea.
That was a good idea. Right.
Yeah.
Agreed.
If you only got one hand to use, that's a good way of doing it.
Yeah.
So they go in and they split up. And Kelly falls.
Yeah. She falls into
she falls to the floor, like into the grate or something. Yeah. And she's in this
filthy water.
Yeah, and she's attacked by a deadite that looks like her.
Yeah, which was pretty cool. They were punching each other at the same time.
Yeah, everything she would do, it would mirror.
Yeah,
and it was like
on top of choking her.
And it was chanting and taunting her, and she snaps out of it, and it's actually she's fighting herself,
which was neat. Like her own hands were around her neck.
Yep.
It was clear she had punched herself. Now it said something interesting about oh, you're stronger than Ash. Why you should be the leader? So I wonder if they are going to go somewhere with that.
I don't know. I think it was more like the evil is trying to appeal to her,
tempt her, and
appeal to her weakness.
Yeah,
I hope so, because Ash, like. Kelly is, like I said, Kelly's vastly becoming my favorite character, but at the end of the day, it's Ash versus Evil Dead.
Right.
You can't make a main,
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Yeah.
And she has an MP5. I actually think it's called an MP5K, which is like the really short, like Matrix looking version.
Uh-huh.
And she comes up, she like snaps out of it.
Yeah.
And the thing starts chanting like, we're gonna get you. And she pulls out the MP5 from under the water and just starts filling the room full of holes, which, by the way, never do that.
It's a bad idea.
Yeah. Listen.
It's a dangerous idea.
don't be a Baldwin.
Oh.
Proper gun safety
no.
is a must.
Yes.
Seriously. What she does, and the reason what she does is she just empties holes into a concrete wall
Just
that's like
spins in a circle. with
2
it,
feet, 2 feet in front of her. Like you
Yeah.
would kill yourself doing that.
Yeah. Like you have so much that would be flying around and
Yeah,
it'd be dangerous.
Yeah, as soon as she did that, I was like, oh,
Yep.
don't do that. That's a good way to get yourself killed.
Yeah.
But the holes in the wall start bleeding.
Yes. At first, just drips of blood running down the.
Yep, and then it just full on hoses.
Which I liked that. I just kind of wish maybe she had shot at the Kelly that wasn't Kelly, and then the holes in the wall behind it started bleeding, like they had tricked her into doing that. Instead of just like that rage spin, like for no reason, which is still cool. It's still what she's got from the cabinet.
There were
like,
several
fuck
scenes.
you.
There were several scenes where they definitely used their budget. One of the scenes that we kind of passed over is in Jacksonville when the Deadites show up. Remember, there's that big fucking vortex in the sky.
In the sky. That's right.
And I was like, oh, there's some FX work right
yeah,
there.
There's some budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's starting to the room is starting to fill full of blood, and it's like rising to the top in the grate where she can barely breathe.
Yep.
And then somehow,
Yep.
Pablo just
grabs
reaches, just reaches in and grabs her and pulls her out, and we're like, wait,
where did he come from? Because prior to that, he was finding out some pretty crucial information about the talisman.
Right. Yes. But she's like up against the ceiling, like she can't get out.
She had the grate there that she couldn't get through, and then like we saw her kind of go under the water, and then next thing we know, grate's open. He's pulling her out.
Right. So but there is no grate there when he's.
I think I saw it leaning against the wall like it had been opened.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Yeah. So
unclear.
It was kind of weird.
Yeah.
But while she's having this reaction with the pit, Pablo is squaring off with one of the demon children.
Yes. It's coming towards him until
he's fighting it. It's tossing him around, and he gets kind of knocked
against the wall. Right?
Yep. Yeah. And he's laying down, and it's crawling towards him, and he grabs the amulet.
Yes. Almost like you would grab a cross around your neck if you were,
and he
Christian.
starts praying.
I don't know if he made it that far. It might have just been out of fear.
Something.
He was trying to be quiet, I think.
Yeah, and
because it suddenly couldn't see him. The creature.
We find out that whatever he's doing with the amulet means that the Deadites can't see him.
Right. So, which is the exact opposite of what it does with the book. But I wonder if that's something to do with you become clear as day to these things when you're wearing it. But if you hold it covered, you're completely undetectable to them, which would just be like a stupid fucking amulet to give somebody without any warning. But
I'm wondering.
Dear God,
I'm wondering if it's part of the quote unquote retcon. If they're like, nope, now this thing does
the
this.
retcon that we suspect happened.
Like a change of course.
They're like, oh no, we'll make it useful now. But we were excited that it was.
Useful. Finally, the Bruja is not just a fucking giant corn encrusted dookie in this show.
Jesus
Christ.
Seriously.
He finally did something that pays off later.
Yeah. Right.
Man.
I like to think, and I hope, that they had a plan for that amulet from the get-go. I still am. I have hope now.
Maybe. I mean, it's possible. It's maybe.
Because
we'll have to see.
We're gonna have to see still. I'm not clear if
I guess it'll depend on if they explain why it works one way and why it works.
Yes, it will. And then they're going to have to explain why his own fucking uncle didn't give him the disclaimer before handing it over.
I know. Like, what the fuck?
Jesus.
Why would you
much
not?
safer to just leave it at the farm.
I don't know.
So that's what was going on with.
Yep. And then as soon as the thing fucks off, he saves Kelly.
Yes. Now, backing up again.
While all of this is going on, Ash actually runs into Ruby. Remember, she's like tucked away in a back.
Was that before or after the shadow? I think the shadow happened first.
The shadow did happen first. That's right. He's walking down the hallway and he just like stops because he can like feel something. Yeah. And the whole time,
even called it first.
Yeah, I was like, I'm waiting for him to just get fucked up by that shadow.
Yep.
And sure enough, he does.
There was and it was cool how they did it because the shadow was ever so slightly off.
Just barely off on its timing.
Like I could never tell where it was or what it was. So good job on them. There's some budget to go.
And it was slightly darker than a shadow than a natural
than it should have
shadow.
been.
Yes.
Yeah. because he was suspicious of it.
He did. He started
quick movements,
trying to fuck it up.
Yeah.
And what I liked about that is it shows Ash's experience and makes him seem a little bit more competent. He's like, nope, I've seen this ship. Now, does it catch him off guard? Yeah, but he at least suspected that something was up.
Right. And it seemed fine. He tested it repeatedly before he turned. He did turn his back on it. But, he's like, okay, it seems all right. And he turns his back on it and then
it
gets
clobbered
on the back of the head. And that was, I think, our first introduction to their shadow power that we got to see, which was super cool. He just emerged out of the wall and we're like, oh, cool. And Ben goes, oh, they grew up fast.
Yeah, it's like they turn invisible-ish.
Yeah.
And you can, and they don't float or fly. They still crawl, and you can see where they're
wall.
You can see where they're crawling along it, but you can't actually see them.
Right. They just suddenly they're in the wall, the shadow wall, and then skitter away or something like that. It's a really cool visual, and so that got them through. And then so we were going plowing straight through each one where they kind of cut it up, and so now this kind of brings us to where I think Ash
finds Ruby.
Yeah,
and she looks like shit still.
Yeah,
you can tell she's been hiding,
which is that's crazy. What a flip.
Yeah, it almost makes me kind of wish we had an episode just to watch that.
I would have liked to see why didn't she have control? Because now it just,
I'm sure they're gonna
I hope so.
Flashbacks and stuff.
I hope so.
But I would have, instead of having it being like, oh shit, what the hell happened, I would have actually preferred the ride of seeing it go down, and then but time, cost, so on and so forth. I'm sure they had the limitations.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like I said, it's Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Yep.
But he's ready to. He's like, nope, I'm gonna stick you. I'm gonna shoot you. I'm gonna do all of these things. And she's just like, I summoned you, you asshole.
Yeah.
And he's just like, that was a bad idea.
Yeah. Why would you do that?
Yep. And she tries to explain to him that the children have turned on her, and he's just like, ooh, boo, fucking who?
Right. Yeah.
What do you say? Like, welcome to my life.
Yeah.
And then she gets snatched.
Yeah.
She's holding the book, and she gets, before they can really have much of an explanation, she gets snatched by one of the shadow children.
Yeah. Then
Ash just continues to creep along, and they have her, we flash to her, and she's surrounded by 3 of them.
Yes.
And they snatch the book away from her, and they realize that it's not the Necronomicon, and they toss it aside.
Right.
And that's when they start torturing her. Clawing her and digging their claws into her sides, asking where the Necronomicon is, and she's like, go get bent.
Yeah.
And Ash finally catches up to them because he's chasing after him. And he's actually contemplating just fucking off for a minute.
Right.
He's like, you
let him have her. Yeah.
But then
he sees her eyes.
Yep.
Yeah.
She locks eyes with him, and he's even like, damn radar eyes. And as she's being tortured, she's giving him the Lucy Lawless help me eyes, and I'm like, yeah.
You'd go running in too, wouldn't you?
So Ash goes in and just he's just like, okay, I'll save her. And he goes to fight those 3.
Yeah.
He shoots 2 of them, drops them, and then fights the main one and he doesn't stab it. No, it knocks the shotgun out of his hand, right? Yes.
Yep. Well, it tears the chainsaw out of his hand.
Tears the chainsaw out of his hand.
After the shit moment was he chainsawed its gut.
Yep. And he's like, do you feel that?
Yeah.
Or does that feel good? Or something like that. Just starts smiling.
Just throws him back, and it all heals up fine. And it's like, oh shit.
Yep. It rips the chainsaw off his hand. Yep. And the 2 that he shot get up.
Yeah. They're cool. Yeah.
That's when Ruby grabs the dagger off of the shotgun.
Yep.
And shanks the main one in the back of the head.
Right.
Killing it.
And it's just kind of a slow death, and you could tell it broke her heart.
Yeah, she's super sad over this.
She is. She really does see them as her children. They're just they've become hoodlums. Oh, I do want to back up a little bit to that fight scene real quick. Speaking of the chainsaw, they did a callback where Ash leaps through the air with his stump forward.
Was it Jacksonville? Or was it that scene?
I think it...
Your blade. Nope, it was Jacksonville.
Was it?
Yeah.
No, I think it was during this. Because he got the chainsaw off, ripped it off. I think it was a result of it getting ripped off of his arm this time or something.
Yeah, that's right.
It happened, but it just kind of...
It was the Evil Dead.
Oh, you might be right.
It was the Army of Darkness callback.
Yeah, but you might be right. It might be a completely... I've lost track, but it was a cool callback that was in there somewhere.
Yeah. Pablo grabs the chainsaw. Is like, Hefe, your blade. And he goes to throw it. And Ash leaps into the air to put it on his hand. a throwback. It was a
Yeah.
callback to the Army of Darkness scene.
Right.
Only that gets completely fuckered.
Right. And episode 1 of this, he does that leap in the pilot episode.
Oh yes. Yep.
Yeah, but you're right. That was Jacksonville. I've rewinded us way back to bring that up.
That's okay. That's okay.
It was a cool scene.
It
was
was,
a cool reversal because they just grab his ankles.
So
and
so yeah, this thing starts to like disintegrate.
yeah,
as she's stabbing it, and
melting,
and it causes the other two shadow children or whatever the hell they are.
whatever they are now.
They take off.
They
They're like,
flee.
we're not fighting mom with the knife.
Yeah.
And Ruby stands up, and Ash puts 2 in its head to finish it off. Remember?
Yep,
He's
that's
like,
right.
Playtime's over.
Bam.
And Ruby's standing there with the knife, and Ash is like, "We gonna do this?" And Ruby passes him the knife,
Yeah.
and she's like, "I told you can trust me." And Pablo and Kelly come running in at this point.
Yep.
And
Ash is like, chill, because they're about to shoot her.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're like, "What are we gonna do?" And he's like, "We're gonna save the fucking world."
Yep. And they all stand for their hero shot,
Hero
with
shot.
Ruby included.
Ruby included.
Yeah.
And that is the end of season 2, episode 1, Ash versus Evil Dead.
Home. Next, we're going to get into what we thought of the episode.
Yeah.
Shop smart. Shop S-smart.
What did you think of this?
So I think they're redeeming themselves for me. I think that I saw several things that gave me hope, and I saw several things that like they're continuing, like their Kelly story arc and stuff like that. That seems to have stuck. Like that, I think they're making really good decisions.
I think they are too,
yeah.
for the exception of Pablo.
Right. But that's one that hasn't changed. At least that one's
No.
just static. That's not one that's gotten worse.
No,
You
it
know?
hasn't.
Yeah.
No.
To me, the way Ash kind of decided on things in the last episode prior to this, that things got worse. That made it worse.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think overall, like I like where they're going with the amulet. That gives me some hope for like, okay, maybe his uncle was playing the long game or something, you know, like it's now useful. Kelly's kept her attitude from that kind of trial by fire in the cabin. No, I'm really digging it. Digging it.
Yeah, I think overall I liked it. I have
Yeah.
mixed feelings on it, but I think overall it was enjoyable.
Yeah. So we'll see. We have yet to see if it can really redeem the ending of last season.
Yeah,
To me, that's still undecided.
I agree.
I'm undecided.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I fall with it too. Is I believe there was some clear changing of courses that happened.
Yeah. And we will kind of have to look in and see if there was any sort of change or some, I don't know. I wonder what people's reaction was at the time.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
interesting to find out
Yeah.
whether, but it just felt like they had something they wanted to do, and then they're like, "Oh, this is not going to work out very well, so we're going to get the fuck out of here real fast." All right, bye Jacksonville.
Yep.
And I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I would rather you just sack up and do that versus be like, "Fuck, we've written ourselves into a corner. Now we're going to do a series of
Right.
convoluted shit."
Right. Yeah, because at least they always have been a bit brute force with their writing. Like, now we're just doing this. We're not ignoring anything they're kind of like Ash about it. They're like, yeah, whatever, that happened. Moving forward, on to the next chainsaw.
Yeah. So I'm glad.
Works.
Yeah, so I'm glad they kind of ditched that and Ash is back into the. Unfortunately, it does still have the scars of making me doubt some of. Some of the stuff.
Boy, that still hurt me to hear you say. And it was like, it's because I think you're right.
Yeah, that's why. Like I said, that's why you got to be careful of that kind of stuff. If you start fucking with your character's motivations,
then they're gonna stop trusting your character.
Yeah,
or believing them.
Believing them when they say stuff.
Yeah.
And especially, it kind of hurts because Ash is one of those characters that's brutally honest.
Yeah.
Like, he usually doesn't bullshit.
Right. Usually doesn't.
Except for about himself.
Yeah, right.
But, like, usually when it comes to, like, the situation, he's usually pretty honest. He's like, no, we're fucked. Yeah. We need to do this.
Like, holy shit. Like, how convinced was he in... I'm thinking of Kelly, the scene back in season 1, Kelly's mom's dinner table.
Yes.
Where, you know what I mean? Like, he backed himself up. He just knew. He's like, nope, this is bullshit. Your mom was dead 6 months ago. It's obvious she's still dead now.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
Like, He would have looked at Ruby and said, like, nope, I can see that you're full of shit. You're clearly full of shit.
I think so.
Although, really, what's weird to me is that she also kept her deal until shit hit the fan with her. You know what I mean? Like, she probably was going to leave him alone.
Yeah.
Which is also weird to me.
Yeah. Especially because through most of the season, she seemed hell-bent on killing him.
Right. So, and then you're just going to let she just needed the book. Maybe it was just the book. She just thought that was all she needed. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not going to try to, justify these characters' decisions anymore.
Either
Good.
But
Nar.
but the good thing is us having this conversation kind of demonstrates the problem, right?
Yes.
It sends you on these spirals where you're like, now the benefit is that most people are like, well, you're dedicating too much thought into it. And I'm like, well, you're a lazy sack of shit, so it's fine.
Or we need to, because that's what we do with this show.
Good way to back out.
We do it for you so you can be a lazy piece of shit.
Sack of shit.
Sack of shit.
Sack of shit.
Sack. I'm so sorry.
No, they contain the shit. They are not actually shit.
Right.
That's too low.
That is. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
But I guess we
containers.
all are sacks of shit, really.
Oh no,
We contain the
I,
shit.
I evacuate my shit daily. They get to listen to it.
So
This
you're
right here is me becoming an empty sack of shit
Oh.
and filling up their sack with my shit. I'm shitting in their sack right now.
So what did we think of this show?
So I will give it. I'll give this episode. Well, do we want to break? We go into the rating.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do the
Let's
rating.
do that. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. I'm gonna give it a 2.5.
2.5.
2.5 out of 5 shit holding sacks.
Shit holding sacks. Did you say 2.5?
2.5. Like this is like for every plus there is a minus. Like this
Yeah.
is like this is right straight down the road for me. For everything that I liked about it, I have a problem. For every advancement they made, there's a problem that's held back from the previous season.
So you're just right in the middle.
I'm right down the middle with
right
this
down
one.
the middle. Well, let's see. I'm going to choose my out of 5 first, because let's call it out of 5 pieces of Pablo's face.
Oof.
Out of 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
That he
Yep.
that he
The
ripped up.
rippings.
I mean, I'm pretty middle of the road too, but I have a little more. It's given me hope. So they get a little point for giving me hope.
Sure.
That point is kind of taken away for not really fixing the problem from the last season, but they get kind of a point back for
Yeah, they didn't fix it. They just chose to kind
Continuing
of kick dirt over it
on,
and move
yeah.
on.
for moving on. So that gives them that point back. So I think I'm going to give them a 3.
3.
Yeah,
That seems,
give 'em a
I
3.
think that's fair.
I like. Well, they could have very easily dropped like Kelly back down to a.
They
you know
oh
what?
yeah, they could have.
You know what? For keeping that, I'm gonna give them another. They've saved themselves by continuing. Kelly saves the day again. Kelly saved the day last time. Kelly saves the day again. They're getting a 4 from me.
A 4.
4 out of 5 pieces of
Pablo's face.
Pablo's face.
Hmm.
So,
I think that
but boy, we had to work hard to get to that. Or I did anyway.
Yeah.
How many?
You were scraping the bottom of the
I
bowl, but
was.
you came up with enough ingredients. I mean, it's fine. I don't think that's I don't think that's unfair.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think that's super favorable.
There you have it.
So you gave it a 4 out of 5
Yep.
Pablo faces.
Yep. 4 out of 5 pieces of Pablo's
So this
face.
was a very mixed bag for us.
It
Although
was.
slightly positive, more positive for you.
Of course.
Middle of the
which-
road for me.
Yeah.
But
right.
I'm more critical.
Yeah.
I'm sometimes hypercritical. I accept that.
But it's fine. I can be a bit of a doormat with how accepting I am of some elements, but they just didn't really redeem themselves from last time. for me.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
So they redeemed themselves by not traveling down the path.
Yeah, they stepped into the boggy puddle with one foot and they said, "Ooh, yucky," and stepped back out of it.
And so with that,
We're gonna go ahead and sign off.
until the next episode,
Yes, I've been Eric
I've been Ben, and
You
this has
guys.
been Cult of Campbell
versus Ash.
versus Evil Dead.
You guys go ahead and stay
Stay groovy.
groovy.
Hail to the king, baby. That's it? That's the best you got?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.